overthinking? I think we need more thinking.
They have earned the spot that they are in right now, and it was a great test for the Nuggets, especially to see how well they will deal with a high-level playing team.
Let's try to get healthy. Let's stay together. And if we can do that, we put ourselves in a good situation.
And over the shoulder, no looker.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So it has been a couple of days since the Nuggets have played, which means that there's been a couple of days since I've had an episode. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I know that sometimes a break can make things kind of stagnant, but at the same time, I felt like it was kind of needed. I was glad that I had a little bit of a break, especially with everything that happened over the weekend. It was just kind of nice to zone out, essentially, and not have to think about basketball or really much anything else. I could just kind of zone out and do nothing, essentially. But we are back now, and the Nuggets... if you don't know what I'm talking about here, the Nuggets had a game on Sunday. They were scheduled to have a game on Sunday in Memphis against the Grizzlies. And due to extreme weather conditions within the U.S., if for those that are not living partial to what's going on in the U.S. Weather-wise, there's a huge cold front affecting most of the country right now. And that caused several games to get postponed. So the Nuggets and Grizzlies were one of those games, primarily because Memphis is just not prepared for that level of cold. And they only have a couple of people that can really take care of it, which meant that a lot of stuff got shut down. Not just the game, but like there was apparently no one even really on the streets. For the most part, it was just more or less like if you wanted to go somewhere, you were walking somewhere. But that kind of led to the Nuggets not practicing. They got a 3-day rest, yeah, but they didn't really do anything. They weren't really active. Jamal Murray in his post-game press conference tonight just said or admitted he did nothing in that 3-day rest. He was in his hotel room just doing nothing or playing video games or, just like basically vegging out in his room at the hotel. That is kind of why I feel this game against the Pistons was so difficult and so more or less boring. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be straight up here. It was boring. I was very sleepy. The low energy levels that the Nuggets came out with in this game affected me watching the game. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact that the Nuggets themselves haven't really played basketball since they were in Milwaukee against the Bucks. And it looked like it. It looked like they were a little rusty. And I believe the Pistons were actually coming off of a back-to-back. They were in Detroit last night. They flew to the Mile High tonight or this morning or whatever, last night, and they were on the second end of their back-to-back. So they didn't have any excuses. The Nuggets shouldn't have any excuse either. They got rest that everyone has been saying that, they need the rest and everything. And that was kind of my first take. When I saw that the game got postponed, despite how I did kind of appreciate that it was postponed because there are just way too many games. There are way too many games. And it just irritates me like none other. The fact that there are so many games that you have all of these back-to-backs. If Adam Silver were just to get his head out of his ass and do something about this and stop being so greedy, decrease the amount of games of the season. One, like I know that's not going to happen, but that would be the first go-to is decrease the amount of games by 20 games. I think that alone would give you enough space within the regular season to, one, not have back-to-backs, and two, to deal with any situation like this where you have to postpone games. And then you have more time to be able to set it up. But the fact that they've kind of dug themselves into this hole with this many games, they now have this situation that there are too many games and schedules are too conflicting that it is almost impossible to reset a game somewhere else. And if you're not going to decrease the amount of games, well, then, there's still the option that you start the season earlier. Start it in September. There's nothing stopping the NBA from starting the season earlier. I guarantee that would even fit more into their greediness. You get more of the year playing basketball. Like, why are you not starting the season earlier to get rid of these back-to-backs and give you more time if something like this happens and a game gets postponed? Because now when you look at the two schedules of the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, it's way too conflicting. And there is not a single game or a single day in that schedule between the two of them where they can fit in a game and it not affect the rest of the schedule and make them play 3 games back to back. The only way is if you cut into the All-Star break for the Nuggets and Grizzlies. That is the only way that they can replace this game. So Big Val was one of the players that got interviewed post-game tonight, and I don't know if it is a language barrier thing that he said that the game was canceled. Because so far we have been told it was postponed. He's the first one that I've heard say it was canceled. So I don't know if it was a language barrier thing or like just him kind of misphrasing it, or if it was legit canceled. Because if it's legit canceled, then that means that the Nuggets actually did luck out here. And they're now going to be playing an 81 game season instead of an 82 game season. I'm okay with that. If that actually happened and they canceled one of the games, I'm okay with them playing an 82 game season. But the catch-22 of this whole postponed thing is if it doesn't happen and they still end up playing this game, then that's going to create another back-to-back. And there are way too many back-to-backs for the Nuggets. They do not need another back-to-back. So regardless of the fact that, okay, they got rest here, they're going to pay for it on the back end. I am 100% of the mindset that you rip the Band-Aid off. You do the work right away now so that you can have that rest later. And I know that there are several other Nuggets fans who were praising this fact and like, oh, we got so lucky or whatever. Slow down. Stop. Don't count your ducks before they hatch. Like, there is still a back end of this that you're not thinking about. And that's where I kind of step in here. That's where my mind kind of focuses on. So if it is true and the Grizzlies-Nuggets game got canceled, not postponed, but canceled, then yeah, we locked out and we got it better. But if it's not and it's postponed and you get that on the back end, that's going to be worse for us than if you had just played the game on Sunday, I understand, though, that it would be difficult and it would be dangerous for people to go to that game outside. But then you also compare it to, okay, well, they had to cancel that game because of weather conditions. And then you cut to the same day the Broncos were playing the Patriots in the Mile High. And then all of a sudden it gets blizzard conditions during that game and they were toughing it out. And that's outside. The Nuggets play, or, basketball is played indoors. So, like, it's, I don't know. It's crazy, but it is what it is. We are now past Sunday. The Nuggets didn't play. Broncos did. Broncos lost, unfortunately. Just real quick note on that is that I would have said that they lost that game when Stiddy decided to pass when they were 1 yard away from a first down. When he decided to pass the ball instead of run it, or they were within field goal range there. And that was before it started to snow. They could have easily kicked the field goal if they weren't going to try to get the first down, or if it was too dangerous to get that first down, they could have at least kicked the ball, got the field goal, and then they would have been tied, and they would have gone into overtime. That didn't happen. He passed the ball, lost it. Fourth, they turned over the ball. So I think that that's where the game was lost. That was in the first quarter, and now we're here. First seed Broncos are out. Patriots are in. And then I started being like, okay, well, now that the Broncos are out, I'm going to root for the Rams because the Rams are in the Kroenke family. And so that's just by process of elimination or whatever, I'm going to root for them. They like they're related to the Nuggets and the Avs. So I'm going to get that or back them up. And then they lost. So now we have a Super Bowl of the Patriots versus Seahawks, which looks like the most boring Super Bowl, most uninterested Super Bowl in a while. Well, actually not a while. At least it's better than the last 2 years or last 3, I guess. At least there's no Chiefs in it. But still, like I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. And so now I get to focus more on hockey and basketball, which is what I want to focus on anyways. So finally... a long-winded area to get back to this game. Nuggets and Pistons. The Nuggets are looking to take on the first seed in the East tonight for the first time this season. Now, they're going to play the Pistons twice. As you know, the West and East play each other only twice. So they're going to play them this week. And then they're going to play them again in Detroit next week. The injury list for this game, AG, CB, Cam, and Yoke all out. We got an update on Jokic. He is going to be reevaluated next week. We hoped that he was going to come back, and then we were hoping that, okay, well, the fact that they got rid of the Grizzlies game, that gives them an extra game that he could still possibly come back within time and still be eligible for awards. That looks like it's not going to happen anyways. So I think that now that we understand that Jokic isn't going to win MVP this year, unfortunately, it is what it is. You would think that they would change the rule because he is still playing in an MVP level and he deserves the MVP award. If nothing, then for getting screwed over last year from it. But it is what it is. So we don't have to worry about any regular or season awards, full season awards. We can just now 100% focus on the main goal at hand, championship. Nuggets need to win a championship. And they need to win that championship within the window of time that Jokic's peak is. We don't actually know how big that window is. We have some guesses, and everyone's thinking, well, the window's closing. But I think that's based off of the other people that we have seen before Jokic. Much like LeBron, no one knew LeBron was going to be have this longevity. Now, I'm of the mindset that I don't crown LeBron the GOAT. I am a Michael Jordan fan through and through. I think now Jokic has definitely shown that he is a mastermind of this game. And so the fact that they also have a lot more technology within health and recovery and everything in today's game, that players are just naturally playing longer. So you could have Jokic playing longer than normal just because of the fact that the health and recovery today has advanced way more. So we don't know how long he has. We know that he doesn't want to play much longer. We know that he is already kind of, planning his retirement on his farm with his horses and everything. But we do still know that he is very passionate, and I can see it in his eyes. He wants to win another championship. Before he leaves the NBA, he wants to win another championship. And I think that he will. If he wills it, it will come. He will be a champion again, a two-time champion, at least a two-time champion. before he retires. So if it doesn't happen this season, it will happen within the next couple of seasons, I believe. Still, we can just count the season awards done for this year for Jokic and the Nuggets, unless Jamal, has an incredible second half of this season, enough to propel him into the MVP conversations. I know he is 10th right now in the conversation. So he is in the conversation. It's just like a couple of guys maybe throwing around his name based on the fact that Jokic has been out. But that would be the only way that a Nugget is going to win MVP, is if Jamal now were to take control. And based off of this game tonight, that's not going to happen. So again, injury list: AG, CB, Cam Johnson, Jokic, all out. Jamal, Peyton Watson, Big Val were questionable for this game. They would all play. And so the starting lineup was Jamal Murray, Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones, and Big Val is your starting center. The Nuggets were in their navy blues, and the Pistons were in their white jerseys. And damn it, the Pistons won. I mean, I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm not surprised. The Pistons are a hard-playing team. I'm not going to say that they're an extremely talented or amazing team, but I will give them more credit than most people will give them, in that everyone is throwing them, writing them off that they're in the East. Oh, well, they're the one seed in the East. If you look at the league standings, though, they're second. And they have been playing Western Conference teams. They've also played the Rockets. They've played OKC. This is not a bum team. They have earned the spot that they are in right now. And it was a great test for the Nuggets, especially to see how well they will deal with a high-level playing team. And they damn nearly won. If they had, I would love to have seen how they would have played tonight if they had some time to practice before this. I think it would have been a completely different scenario. I think you would have had Jamal a little bit more ready for the moment. I think you would have had a lot more of the other guys ready for the moment. So, and then also, let's not even count the fact that if this team was fully healthy, it would have been a completely different game. The Nuggets would have destroyed the Pistons. I 100% feel that. Despite how good the Pistons are, a healthy Nuggets would have blown out the Pistons, and in the Mile High specifically. But that didn't happen. And we got this near win from the Pistons. So what happened in this game? Well, I actually didn't take a lot of notes, so this is going to be a quick rundown here. First quarter, Nuggets controlled the tip. Murray gets fouled on a fadeaway shot, makes both free throws for the first points of the game. Tobias Harris on the other side, off a second chance point, gets a layup for the first field goal of the game. Nuggets turn over the ball twice. The Pistons, they can pay for it and quickly go up by 4. And then the Nuggets are slow to react and get back onto defense after missed shots. Pistons force Nuggets to 4 quick turnovers in the beginning of the quarter. Jamal seems very, very disengaged and flat. He came out with not a lot of energy. Like, there was times where he was just standing around waiting for something to happen. It was kind of frustrating and confusing to see that. But then again, if you take into account the fact that he just was in his hotel room for 3 days, like, it kind of makes sense now why he came out so flat. And I know it's not an excuse, and it's definitely not championship mentality, but still, like, there is some kind of reasoning behind why he played so flat. And I'm not advocating for it. I'm not justifying it, but I am just giving reason for why he played flat. It definitely felt like that. And so no one is able to make a 3. That was a big thing in the first quarter. No one was able to make a 3 for the first 2 10 minutes of the game, no one was able to make a three until finally Spencer Jones knocks down a three, the first three of the game at the 2:39 mark of the quarter. A three by Green then gets the Pistons a lead by 11, and then a very flat quarter for the Nuggets. It looks like a 3 days that they had stuck in Memphis, which is not helpful. And the Pistons showed up and destroyed the Nuggets in the paint, especially as they outscored the Nuggets 31-18 in that first quarter. Second quarter, Nuggets start off the quarter with a lineup of Strother, Murray, Brucey B, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Zeke. I think that they started with Murray in the second quarter for Adelman to try to get him more warmed up. Like, he saw he was slacking and really low energy. I'm sure that he thought, well, let me just continue to play him. Let me get him more warmed up. And to some extent, it did actually help in the fourth quarter later on. We'll get to that. But for second quarter here, so Pistons miss their first attempt, and then on the other end, Strother misses, but Zeke gets the putback to get the first bucket of the quarter. Pistons then continue to put it to the Nuggets and force Adelman to take a timeout as the lead balloons to 16. Bruce then gets the Nuggets' first points since the first bucket by Zeke after the 3 minutes there. And Tim Hardaway Jr. knocks down a three, very vindicating, and gets that lead knocked down to 9. Nuggets start to making some shots, but they don't play any defense in the second quarter. They were making a great shots with great looks and everything. Not playing the defense. The game is a two-way game. You have to play some defense if you plan on winning the game, especially if you are down. Nuggets didn't do that. Pistons continue to control the paint on the other end. And so every bucket that the Nuggets made, it would be reciprocated with another bucket by the Pistons, and we would be even constantly. Murray then draws the defense and kicks it to P. Watt for the three. Suddenly, it's a 2-point game. Thompson hits a layup and gets the Pistons first to 50, but the Nuggets were still able to outscore the Pistons in that second quarter, 28-21. Pistons still with the lead, 52-46 into the half. Third quarter, Nuggets start off with the starters as Duran scores on a floater for the first bucket of the quarter. Then Big Val scores a short bucket to get the Nuggets on the board. So then the Nuggets once again get down by 15 and claw themselves back out of that hole, cut it down to 6. Murray starts to really heat up, but it's still a lot of P-Watt and Big Val that's leading the Nuggets with key plays. Nuggets then continue to struggle to come up with any defensive impact to the game as Pistons are just making easy buckets. Pistons outscore the Nuggets in the third quarter 30-26. Fourth quarter, Nuggets start off with a lineup of Tim Hardaway Jr., P-Watt, Brucey B, Big Val, and Strother as Timmy hits a three right at the start of the quarter to get the first bucket of the quarter. Cade with a push-off and a fadeaway to get the Pistons first to 100, and then clutch time as Murray starts to heat up, cuts the lead down to 4. Hardaway for 3 makes it a 1-point game. He gets that bounce too. It drops it in. Awesome. We're at now a 1-point game. Murray gets fouled at the arc with 3 seconds left in the game. Makes 2 of 3. Still 1-point game. Nuggets play the foul game, and then Jamal gets fouled again beyond the arc with 0.07 seconds left on the clock. Chance to tie the game. He makes 1 of the 3. He makes the first one, misses the second shot. He goes for the third shot, intentionally misses the third shot, trying to get Big Val or Zeke to tip the ball in. Doesn't make it. Nuggets they still outscored the Pistons though, 35-27 in that fourth quarter. And once again, if they hadn't allowed the Pistons to get that big of a lead several times, this could have been a different scenario where we're looking at. Pistons get that win once again. Final score 109-107. So, hats off to Pistons. They came in a second end of a back-to-back in the Mile High, which is supposed to be the most difficult place to play in, and managed to eke out the win from a very lackadaisical, low-energy Nuggets. The Nuggets just, again, fell very flat in this game, and the energy that they put into the fourth quarter was a little too late in the quarter to really save themselves out of that hole that they dug themselves into in the first quarter. So a lot of this has to deal with the 3 days of rest and not being able to practice and being stuck in Memphis. But then at the same time, no excuses, right? And they have to come ready to play even if that certain thing happens. And they just didn't do that. We did get a great game from Brucey B. Brucey B, I felt like, was probably one of the highlights of this game for the Nuggets. He kept the intensity where there was none and got the steals that we were needing. He got the layups that we were needing, and he put pressure on the Pistons when the rest of the team just wasn't doing it. And once again, the Nuggets paid for not being able to crash the glass, and they did not control the rebounds as much as they should have. I mean, the Pistons are not a very big team. They have Duran and they have Beef Stew, but short of that, they are a slightly smaller team, and so that actually plays well for the Nuggets. They should have been able to obtain more of the rebounds in this one, but instead you got more effort from the Pistons crashing the glass and controlling these rebounds, getting the second chance points that you just haven't been able to get with the Nuggets lately. So next game is going to be against the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to see Michael Porter Jr. for the first time in Denver since he got traded. They need to come out with great energy. They're not going to have Jokic in the game. There's a good chance they're not going to have CB or Cam Johnson. And we probably won't even have AG. So Murray has to control it from tip-off. He needs to control the game the way that he knows best. Blue Arrow needs to come out, and he needs to really make the Piston or the Nets pay from behind the arc, because you cannot get swept by the Brooklyn Nets. I'm sorry, just a team that is intentionally tanking the season, you cannot have them sweep you. It's as simple as that. And as much of a revenge game as this could be for Michael Porter Jr., I now say it's a revenge game for the Nuggets, because Michael Porter Jr. already got his revenge game in Brooklyn. Now it's time for the Nuggets to pay him back. Stats here. We had Spencer Jones play 32 minutes tonight, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. He was 4 for 5 from field, 4 for 5 from 3. So he only missed 1 3. He has really been great from behind the arc. I will give him credit for that. That has been something that, he hasn't been taking a lot of shots, but he has been making every shot that he's been making or attempting. So, great performance or effort from Rapid Man, as DNVR calls him, Spencer Jones there. He had 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls. He was a -4. Peyton Watson played 36 minutes tonight, 13 points, a low-scoring game for Peyton Watson. The second low-scoring game that he has played within the last couple of games. So he's either tiring out, or what we've seen him do recently was not it was kind of more of a random kind of effect. I don't want to think that. I think that he has improved, but we haven't seen it in the last couple of games again. So the consistency, he needs to work on that consistency and being able to create his own shot. I mean, he is putting up a ton of attempts. He got 13 points tonight. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. That's always great when you see Swatson show up. But he took 20 attempts from the field and only made 6. That is a 30% that he shot tonight. I mean, every single one of those, if you're going to put that up, there needs to be another Nugget in the paint or somewhere else to collect that rebound so that he can try to do it again, and you keep on collecting the rebounds until someone makes it. And maybe if it's not dropping for Peyton Watson for the first couple of attempts, you kick it to someone else. He did make 1 of 6 from 3, and then he had 3 turnovers and 3 personal fouls. He was a -12. So again, not a great game for Peyton Watson, but I expect him to show up better against the Brooklyn Nets. Big Val, Jonas Valanciunas, played 30 minutes tonight. He had 16 points, 16 rebounds. I believe it's a season high for him in rebounds, but that is a double-double for Big Val, and that's awesome. And that also shows you just how the Pistons are not as big as you think they would be. It's primarily Beef Stew and Jalen Duren that makes them big at all. He had 1 assist, and he had 1 block. He was 6 for 10 from field, 1 for 1 from 3. So he did shoot or attempt 1 3, and he made it. Awesome. He only missed 1 free throw, so he was 3 of 4. He had 4 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, and was a 0. Jalen Pickett played 16 minutes tonight. He had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 2 for 3 from field. He also didn't make a 3, and he didn't go to the line, but he did have 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls, and it was a -5. And then I believe, Jamal Murray, Blue Arrow, played the most amount of minutes of any Nugget tonight with 38 minutes. He had 24 points in that 38. He had 5 rebounds and 10 assists, so he also got a double-double tonight. He had 1 block. He was 7 for 18 from field, 0 for 6 from 3, 10 for 15 from free throws, which is a very uncommon stat for Jamal. He does not miss typically that many free throws. He is a very good free throw shooter, but for some reason, it was just not on his game tonight. And I, again, credit that to the fact that he stayed in his hotel room for 3 days. He had 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, and was in +8. He is the biggest or the highest plus-minus of any Nugget tonight. And then bench-wise, I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. still is showing some good effort, and he made 4 of 9 threes tonight against his old team. He played 31 minutes, made 14 points, and then he was a +3. But then I really wanted to talk about Brucey B, because he played 23 minutes tonight, and in that 23 minutes, he made 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 7 for 10 from field. They have him as 0 for 2 from 3, but I remember him making a 3 unless they counted it as a 2. But I could have sworn he buried a 3 at one point. And then he made 2 free throws, 2 of 2 from free throws. He had 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls, and was a +7. So he's the second highest Nugget, plus-minus Nugget of tonight. And so I wanted to shout him out because it was great effort that he put into it, and it was something that we were overdue for. You know, a good Bruce Braun game. We got that tonight, and it's just a shame that it didn't result in a win. But you know, for everyone down on Bruce right now, it's great to see that he showed some productive minutes tonight, and I'm still glad that he's a Nugget. I hope that he retires a Nugget. And even if it, leads into him being a veteran and just be on the bench, giving some input to the guys and everything, if he's not going to be the same guy that, helped us win the chip in 2023, at least, just be on the bench as a veteran, giving some crucial advice to Julian Strother and Jalen Pickett and all that, So overall stats here, we had 49 rebounds to their 41. So we did actually out-rebound the Pistons, but it wouldn't, if you watched that game, it wouldn't have appeared like that. And a lot of that was the crashing the glass that they did on those second chance points. We had 22 assists to their 24. We had 4 steals to their 10. That's the impact that they had tonight. They were causing so many turnovers and steals that it was just the Nuggets had too much. It was too much for the Nuggets to kind of deal with. We had 9 blocks to their 3. We shot 47% from field. They shot 46. So even though their percentage, their efficiency wasn't as high as us, it's pretty much more or less the same. But the shots that they did make were sometimes uncontested. And the Nuggets, like the ones that they missed, and they missed a lot, even those were at times not contested. And that's kind of what the Nuggets just kind of like, they stopped playing defense, or there was none there to begin with. And they only started to play defense in the second quarter, at the end of the second quarter, and in the fourth quarter. The first and third quarters were very lackadaisical, and a lot of easy points were generated from the Pistons there. We shot 34% from 3. They shot 19%, and they're not a great three-point shooting team. So that's something I expect for us to outshoot them in 3. It just kind of sucks that it was such a low percentage scoring night for the Nuggets, and sometimes you're going to get that, And that's also why I'm not as upset about this loss as some people are, because you're going to get some of these losses, and it's going to suck, but they're going to learn from it, and I guarantee they're going to play harder in next game against the Nets. And it's not a great. It's a back-to-back. Just real quick, it's a back-to-back. The Nets are the first end of the back-to-back. It ends with the Clippers, who are the hottest team in the league right now. So it's going to not be an easy back-to-back. It's going to be a dogfight, but hopefully the energy it maintains both of those games, and hopefully the crowd brings it, because it's at home. Both of those games are at home. And then they head out to Oklahoma, and we face the Dust Bunnies for the first time this season. I think that's this weekend. So we shot 73% from free throws. They shot 83%. We had 15 turnovers. They had 6. That's right there. The turnovers, that just says it right there. They controlled the ball better than we did. We lost the ball way too many times. Like, I swear, I thought that they started the game off by dipping their fingers in butter, because they just could not control the ball. It kept on getting slipped out of their hands, and they couldn't even control the ball when they were trying to rebound it in the beginning. Like, what was going on? I don't know, but a lot of turnovers for the Nuggets. We had 16 personal fouls. They had 21. So you can also tell they're a little bit more aggressive. And of course they are. I believe that JB Bickerstaff has kind of molded this team into being a different version of the bad boy Pistons from the early 90s. Because they are super aggressive, especially you have Beef Stew. Beef Stew is nothing but a bad boy Piston. He's the bad boy Piston as much as you can be in the league today. I know the league is a little softer than it was back in the 90s, but he plays hard and he gets into fights, and he's been ejected several times already this season and last season. He is a high a very aggressive player. You're going to get a lot of personal fouls when you have Beef Stew in the lineup, and then also to some extent, Jalen Duren can be pretty aggressive too. You have Asar Thompson, who also is. Him and his brother are both very aggressive. So, I think it just kind of comes with the territory that you play the Pistons, you're going to expect to get beaten up a lot. So, that's pretty much all I got for this episode. If we look at the standings now because of this game, real quick, with this loss, we are still holding on to that 3rd seed. Thank God, because again, we have that little cushion, but that cushion is quickly being depleted. So we are now a game and a half ahead of the Rockets, who are the 4th seed right now. And this gave the Spurs a little bit of hope, because if we had won today, then we would have retaken that 2nd seed. But instead, we lost, and now we are a half a game behind them. And and both teams are six. Well, the Spurs are 6 games behind OKC. We're 6.5 games behind OKC. And then the Pistons. So just real quick, just to kind of give you some background with the Pistons. If you look at the league stats, they are second in the league. They have a record of 34-11. The Nuggets are sitting in the 4th seed of the league with 31-16. We are 4 games behind the Pistons. So this was always going to be a challenge. The fact that they came out this year being the hottest team in the East and claiming that 1 seed, that already set up for the Nuggets and Pistons when they met up. It was going to be a difficult game. If you remember, the last couple of seasons, the Nuggets have been able to sweep the Pistons. They're a much better team. They're a different team. So they will have a much, I would say, a better run this playoffs than they did in last season even, you know? So it's really interesting. Just that even though they're in the East, it is still a very difficult team to play against. And just also real quick, the schedule here, if you look at the schedule for the Nuggets in the next couple of games here. So we end this month, this hellish month, on a back-to-back, right? We have the Brooklyn Nets on Thursday, followed by the Clippers on Friday. And then I spoke, I need to correct myself with OKC. The OKC actually comes into Denver. So they're going to play us on Sunday in Denver. And then we go on a 3-game road trip. We play the Pistons next Tuesday. So exactly 1 week from today, we're going to play them again in Detroit, followed by, which is the first end of a back-to-back. So the second end is in New York against the Knicks, who are also playing very well. You know, they've had a little bit of a bump in the road lately. They haven't played so well, but they won tonight against the Kings, which isn't saying much, but still. And then they destroyed the Brooklyn Nets. And then after we have a 2-day break, and then we'll face the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, for the last time this season on Saturday, the February 7th. So that's our next couple of games here. And I mean, hopefully, if you don't get Jokic back for that OKC game, there's a good chance you're going to get him back on the road. And some people are not okay with that. They would rather him get back in Mile High, but I just want him back. And so if we get him back on the road, then so be it. But I'm not gonna split my hairs here. Like, we just need him back, and we need him back healthy. So if that means that he sits out a little bit longer to come back and limit any kind of percentage of him getting hurt again, then I'd rather him sit out a little bit longer, get fully healthy, come back, so he's not here and then gone and then here and then gone, you know? I think the same thing can be said for both Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun. They both need to continue to sit out and get healthy, fully healthy, before they come back. Because obviously we saw that with Christian Braun. He came back too early. So, the beaten up Nuggets, are still able to control or hang on with that 3rd seed. And that is something to be proud of. We didn't see this happening. We thought for sure that we were going to be in the play-in by now. And they have been able to manage to hang on to that 3rd seed. Some of it by luck, I will say. Some of it has been by luck, but some of it has also been from just playing really well and playing for each other. That 76ers game was not luck at all. That was them playing hard. A little bit of luck was in the Bucks game, but still, a win is a win is a win. And tonight we didn't get it because they were too sluggish and didn't want to play until the 4th quarter, and it was too late. But that happens sometimes. You get that. So That's pretty much all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it out to your friends and family. And if you do feel gracious enough to give me a donation, the link for my PayPal is in the description below, as well as on the profile page. You can check that out and tack on a take, if you want, or a comment about this game, about this team, about any of the players, or another team, another players, or another game, if you will. Or if you want to talk about a different sport, or if you want to, talk about film. The Oscars came out, so we can talk about that. Or if you want to talk about about music or something, I'll shout you out in the next episode. But you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. We'll catch you later.